In this video, I would like to talk about an essay that I have recently seen that on first look might appear to be a band 8 for vocabulary, but on closer inspection it doesn't quite make it to this score. And I want to talk about the issue of using language appropriately because it's really important. It's really important for getting beyond 7 and up to bands 8 and 9. So let me just read what I said to the student up here. I highlighted in the essay words that I feel would be better left out of your essay. They serve no purpose other than to make communication more difficult. Note that they can be removed and leave an easier to read sentence. They will only be of value if they are adding precision or clarity to the arguments you are trying to make, but they are not. Okay, so high-level language should be used to add precision or clarity to something that we're trying to say. That's the purpose of using these sort of high-level, less common words. It's not great if they're just making communication more difficult. Okay, let's look at the grading criteria and see what it says about this a little bit. Band 9 uses a wide range of vocabulary with very natural and sophisticated control. So native writers use high-level language essentially, like I'm saying, to add precision or clarity. Somebody who's not a native writer is more likely to be doing this. So there's an unnaturalness to it. And you'll see this in the essay, that it's a little bit unnatural and lacking in sophistication. Okay. And then let's have a look at band 8. Here's the precision I was talking about. Uses a wide range of vocabulary fluently and flexibly to convey precise meanings. Okay, so one of the purposes of high-level language is for precision. And then collocation. Collocation's about words that go together. For instance, we talk about high salaries, but say tall trees. So certain words go together. High goes with sort of non-physical abstract things like people's salaries, and tall usually for things we can see and touch, tangible objects. So that's what we mean by collocation. Okay, skillfully uses uncommon lexical items, but there may be occasional inaccuracies in word choice and collocation. Occasionally, yeah, I think there's sort of 1 or 2 or 3 too many in this essay. So really the two issues, well, really there's 3 issues here. There's the naturalness of it, the language not being used for any purpose such as to add precision, and then the collocations are not good. There's certain words that go together that, certain words used in this essay together that don't really collocate well. They don't really go well together. And really this is a result of the student learning in advance a whole lot of high-level words and then stuffing them into the essay. And by stuffing I mean just putting them in where they're not needed. And that's been done to try and impress the examiner, and maybe the odd examiner will be impressed. I think most experienced examiners are used to this type of thing, and they're not going to be giving an 8. They're going to be looking below 8. So let's have a look at some of these words then. And let me just read out the question, because you need that maybe for context so that you understand why certain words are being used. Rich countries often give money to poorer countries, but it does not solve poverty. Therefore, developed countries should give other types of help to poor countries rather than financial aid. This should say, to what extent do you agree or disagree? Okay, So let's have a look at the first one we've got. It has been, and this is the first sentence of the essay, it has been an enigmatic quandary. Well, a quandary is sort of like a problem or difficulty, and enigmatic means sort of not quite clear or mysterious. So we've got sort of a not quite clear or mysterious problem, or issue or difficulty or something to solve. So the point that I've been making is these highlighted words are not really needed. We could get rid of enigmatic, and the essay would still make sense. Let me show you what I mean. So if we get rid of this word enigmatic, it has been a quandary as to whether the best solution for solving poor countries' poverty is giving them money. This sentence is actually easier to read now. It's better lexically, it's better in terms of vocabulary, it's definitely better in terms of coherence aspect of cohesion and coherence. Let's just put the word back in. It has been an enigmatic quandary. So quandary's enough. Quandary's a great enough word on its own without having to add another word next to it that's not really necessary or needed. Okay, let's go to the next one. Various uses unambiguously demonstrate the matter pertaining to this theme. So again, if we take out this word unambiguously, so something that's ambiguous is sort of not clear. It could be this or it could be that, and so unambiguous just means that something's clear. We don't really need the word at all. We can just get rid of that word. Various uses demonstrate the matter pertaining to this theme, and we've still got pertaining in there and demonstrate. There's still plenty of high-level language in this sentence. And really, there's a thing called lexical density, and lexical density is when you just pack too many high-level words all in together. This causes difficulties for coherence. It just becomes hard to understand, and that's sort of the problem that we've got here. Well, let me just explain what I've done here with these grey parts. The other thing that I noted with the writer, I suspect his vocabulary is not that great overall. He keeps repeating poverty problems, and this is another issue too, that repetition will lower your score for vocabulary. You want to try and rephrase things. Poverty problems doesn't really collocate well. Poverty problems become worse. We could just say poverty becomes worse. I have to add an S there. Poverty becomes worse is actually a better way to phrase it. But the issue is also, the issue is that it's not a great phrase and then it gets repeated excessively. So this is another reason why this person is definitely not an 8. This goes all through the essay. Poverty could be rephrased as a lack of money, and then you could also just use some pronouns later here to get rid of the issue of having to repeat this phrase all the way through. Moving on to the end of the paragraph, we've got these various uses clearly illustrate an epitome of why poor countries need monetary support. An epitome is like a perfect example. So we've got these various uses clearly illustrate a perfect example. So illustrating an example, bad collocation and unnecessarily. We just take that out. These various uses clearly illustrate why poor countries need monetary support. Monetary support, that's about money. That's great language. That's good. The sentence is good enough without stuffing in some type of memorized phrase to try and impress the examiner, which ends up actually having, I said, just to illustrate a perfect example. It's not great. It could be rewritten so that epitome would work. Maybe these various uses are the epitome. Maybe something like that might work. Okay, next paragraph. Absence of right solution. There should be the right solution there. We need an article. Absence of the right solution lucidly illustrates the issue at hand. This is probably okay. Lucidly just means like very clearly. Again though, we could just delete that and the sentence is actually clearer. Absence of the right solution illustrates the issue at hand. It's still not really a great and easy to understand sentence. It's not a perfect topic sentence for this paragraph, but that's an issue for another video. Down here, spectre. Yeah, it's a nice word. A spectre in this context is kind of like a danger. Maybe this one is okay. So what have we got? Many rich countries have provided poor countries with the goods, both unnecessary and not helpful at all. It seems like saying the same thing. Not needed and not helpful, about the same at all. A spectre, a danger which deteriorates the fiscal status of many international charities. I guess again the reason why I don't like this is we've already got deteriorates and fiscal status in the sentence, which are high-level words in themselves. Again, we've got the issue of lexical density. This is very, very dense in here. It's difficult to understand. So the word choices are starting to be less natural and just sort of unnecessary lexical density. Okay. So that's really all I wanted to say in this video. The point is to be careful about using high-level language. Be careful about what words you choose to learn as well. And be careful not to stuff too many of them into your essay. I think it's actually really good that the student has learnt these words. The problem is that there's just too many of them being stuffed into the essay in places where they're not really needed. If you used half as many and showed more ability to rephrase this poverty problems of poverty, lack of money, destitution, then this essay would be much better in terms of vocabulary. Okay, I'll put a link for this on my website, and if you want to know what some of the words mean, I've got these here. And then just one last final thing. We've got this idiomatic expression called try hard. Now, when we talk about somebody trying hard, like trying hard to pass the IELTS test, that's a good thing. A try hard is an idiomatic expression. It's negative in meaning. You can see here a person who puts a large amount of effort into achieving a certain thing to the point where it is obviously planned in advance. So a try hard is someone who is just obviously trying to fake something. All right, so that's the meaning of a try hard. Sometimes we talk about it in video games. I play a video game called Team Fortress. It's a team game, and the try hard in that is someone who's just trying too hard to win and kill other people at the expense of enjoying the game and expense of his teammates' fun. There's a couple of other examples down here that I've got off the urbandictionary.com, which is a really good website if you want to find out the meaning of certain idiomatic expressions, current expressions that are sort of new and trendy. That's a really good website for that. So you can have a look at those on my website if you want, and it might just make it clearer what I mean by try hard, which then might also make it clearer what I'm trying to say about this essay and why I feel the vocabulary is not ideal.